Good morning and welcome to the Wallet to Wealth Female Entrepreneur Series. Sorry, totally having technical issues there. Oh my gosh. All right, that's the difficulty with Zoom is that, we're always like 20 seconds delayed. Anyhow, in support of Halton Women's Place, Wallet to Wealth was born. And we started that about 18 months ago. And last year we had our inaugural Women's Gala where we had eight female speakers come and share their advantage in their adversity. So we will be doing that again this year. And it will be a virtual event. And we're really excited about this because now we're going to be able to stretch out across Canada into the United States. And we have a lot of people who will be attending and sponsoring and giving gifts. So if you would like to have your piece or your service showcased in our event, please let us know because we're starting up we're implementing our event page this week, and we're now starting to collect donation, sponsorship, and gifts for the silent auction. So, and mark your calendars for November the 12th, because this will be our event where we have some awesome speakers. So we'll talk about that the next time. But it is on the website. So today, I have an awesome person, Brittany Hammond, who I will introduce to you. She is the founder of Untamed Productions, and she will explain to you how she came up with that name. I know how she came up because I'm actually her mom. So Brittany has created an incredible business of being able to get to the real root of a business owner's story. She has a knack of breaking through the veneer walls that many of us have and having us release the fear of being seen and heard and helping others to find their voice. Please welcome Brittany Hammond.
Woohoo! I have a little stage fright. There's like 12 people watching us.
Oh, awesome. Well, I can't, because I'm having a social media breakdown. I can't see anything at this moment, but I'll figure it out while you're talking.
Well, thanks for having me on again. I know we've spoken a few times, but
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk about evolution.
Yeah, today. So this is great. So just to let people know, I have a granddaughter in the background, so she's doing a couple things there. But anyhow, so let's jump into the questions right away, and we'll dialogue on these. So recently, and this actually started from you, so it didn't start from me. It was your idea, and this is what's so great about you is that you have fabulous ideas. We've been talking about intergenerational wealth trauma and also societal messages. So can you tell us about your experience and how that's affected you? So your parents' beliefs, society's beliefs, and any trauma that you endured in your life, how that has affected you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so much that I could talk about, but to keep it in a nutshell, really, I think it's actually Tony Robbins who said this, but you can inherit the bad stuff, but you can also inherit the good stuff. And so I want to say, first and foremost, growing up with such an empowered mom and business owner as a mother, I never felt like I was going to be restricted in my career. Like I always felt like a free, empowered woman that I could do whatever I wanted. I didn't have some of those generational beliefs that mom, you might have had from my grandma, your mom, around, well, moms are just secretaries or moms are just housewives. So like, because I didn't have that. Some women do have that. But for me, I just knew that I was going to be a business owner. So that was a positive belief that I inherited. Some of the like more negative beliefs was just around like things having to be really hard. Like you really have to struggle. And I think I innately rejected that belief, but my soul me rejected it because I thought, well, life is meant to be like flowing, like we're meant to live happy lives. That was like the little Brittany belief as a child. And then obviously you grow up, you go through your teen years, your 20s. And so I was kind of replicating this success model that I had from you, but also from my older sister around like the hustle and the burnout. And so I have a 5-year age gap with my older sister. And so I would watch kind of your guys's, because you guys are more similar in nature, I would watch your way of achieving success. And I thought, well, if I'm going to have a breakdown, work myself to the bone, never have a spare minute for myself, then like, I don't want success. So this is a really like teachable lesson to those listening, is that you have to find what your model for success is. And it doesn't have to be what your family's is. It's going to be what really your strengths are. And I know, as a different energy type than my mom or my sister, that I can't work myself to the bone. I've done it. So yeah, those are kind of one of the positive and one of the negatives.
Interesting. And your voice, I just wanted to ask you a question about your voice, because I feel like your voice was taken from you when you were growing up. And part of that was because you had a type A mom and you had a type A sister. And so we didn't recognize or realize that we were working ourselves to the bone. We were like, come on, just get it done, hurry up, just, and so you are coming from a more, like, you're just like an old soul. You have wisdom, like beyond anybody's wisdom. And, so Chanel and I were kind of doing things with brute force and going to make it happen. And so you kind of got lost in the dust there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know. I think that's where that when the feeling of feeling invalidated, it's like you don't have someone modeling back to you what is possible for you. Like, I think as children, we model our families. That's our role model. And so I just felt like an outcast. But when I was running Action Window Cleaners, that was my first 6-figure in sales business. I did adopt that model, and I had a lot of resentment when I was younger, but I don't regret ever running that business, because it taught me how to run a business. But when I was 18 years old, working 15 hours a day, I definitely had, and I did that because my sister ran a similar business. So I was like, great, well, I'll just do the same thing. And but yeah, I don't have regrets. I just think I had to learn a different way of managing my stress and my energy.
Yes. So, but really, in a way, that which leads me to the next question, is some of those messages, whether they were good or bad, or some of the trauma of feeling like you're that saying, the catch up. Like, what is that story? The 2 tomatoes and the one that's walking behind, and somebody steps on it and says, catch up, so it's that analogy, of catch up, and so your voice wasn't being heard. And so this leads to the next question, is that those experiences that you happened, and trying to catch up and run this business, and I've watched you, beyond that business, and getting 2 master's degrees in another language. By the way, she wrote them all in French, not in English. Writing a master's is one thing, writing them in a different language is another. But how did this all become a terrific advantage in your life, where you've actually been able to align yourself? So you're living in, you're flourishing now. So tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, something I actually teach my clients as I help them with their brand story, it's about looking back at all of your experiences and seeing how that contributes to your business. And so obviously, having a background in film and theater, I know how to show up and perform. I know how to speak with people. I know how to sell. Then I had the Action Window Cleaners business, so I learned again how to sell, how to manage money. The master's degrees, I mean, those really helped me in how to clearly articulate an idea, how to make an argument, again, it's all about how do you sell yourself. You learn how to articulate who you are and what you do. But I was 24. in my second master's degree. And just as a side note, the reason why I did a second master's degree is because I was living abroad and I needed to renew my visa and I didn't know how to do it. So I stayed in school for an extra 2 years as I built my business. But the first thing I ever monetized was graphic design, because that's just what I knew and what I felt comfortable accepting money for. And so I did that. And then I did some web design. And then I finally got the courage to do some of like the creative consulting. And that took about 3 years to really, really get my confidence level to the point where I was charging decent amounts. And then same thing with like bringing in the film work. I don't know, I've just always been someone to just get messy and go for it. Like I wanted to get paid while I was learning. I didn't want to work for another company and help build their dream, because I was like, well, if I can produce brand story videos for people, then I can learn how to operate the camera, which obviously I had some knowledge of it before, but I can just get paid to learn instead of working for a different company. But part of the advantage in that adversity is that I was living abroad in a foreign country where I needed to fulfill certain visa requirements. So I wasn't able to get a job somewhere else. And that really squished me in my late 20s, because I had to make my business work. I literally did not have the privilege to go and get a job. And that served me in a way that maybe I would have given up if I had gotten a job. Maybe I wouldn't have pushed through those hard moments. I mean, you can't really know in retrospect. You can just kind of look at the positives of it. So, yeah.
Well, I want to jump in here because you've got a massive talent that has come in. You have this compassion that you have found in your pain. And because you have this incredible compassion, you're actually able to dig by far way deeper to help business owners find their why. And so as business owners, we all struggle with the elevator pitch and the why, and we pay coaches to develop the strategy. And I can tell you that I talk to coaches and I can develop their why because of what you've taught me. And it's by far more deeper than a cerebral thought. And you were able to do that with me. I mean, I've been successful in my practice for almost 25 years. And I know, I innately have this why, and I know why I'm out there running and doing every single day what I'm doing. But when I sat down with you 18 months ago and decided let's do some work and launch a non-for-profit, you are actually able to take me to a different level. So, I strongly believe that compassion and knowledge you have is coming from the pain of not being able to share your own story and your own voice and living in a shadow when you were growing up. And because of that, you've become so incredibly talented. You just have this innate knowledge. And this was where I was going with the question is how you've applied that, because we are curious to know, how are you doing that?
Oh, well, I think that's an interesting way to mirror it back to me, because I never really thought of it that way. I mean, I know that I love helping people reclaim their voice, because that was one of my big struggles in my life. And that's just as a side note. Oftentimes, like, our greatest gift is also one of our biggest struggles. And so just like you, Mom, with money, like, you were innately good with money, but you also struggled with it. And like, I don't know. So when I'm talking to someone and I hear their story, I'm like, well, what's the biggest thing you struggled with? And it just comes to me so quickly. But I think for the person who's trying to figure out how to articulate their message, they don't know how to be objective about their story. So they get caught up in 100 million details. And for me, like, I think I'm just able to really hone in and like laser focus on, this is what's relevant and this is what's not relevant. And I also am someone who makes quick decisions fast. Like, we were just talking about this before we hit live, is I don't sit in details and things. Like, as a business owner, you just need to decide, this is what my story is right now. This is how it applies to my business. If it evolves, great, you run with it, but you can't get bogged up in all of these details. So yeah, and I think, like, to touch on the gift part. I studied human psychology. I studied theater and film. So, I mean, these really were my talents of just understanding the human condition. And most people that run businesses, it comes from, what's that expression? Frustration is the genesis of creation. So we create
frustration is the genesis of creation. We'll have to put that in the notes.
Yeah, like we create something because we were frustrated. We wanted to find the solution. Like I didn't have someone 6 years ago help me figure out what my message was. So I created my own process to hone in on your message, share your story, whether it be my mentorship or if I'm helping people actually produce their signature brand story video. I just know, how do you get to the heart of the story? And I get to it fast because I think, like you said, I know what questions to ask, which is, again, I mean, it's hard for me to see it because it's natural. So I don't always see it as a gift because my brain just thinks that way.
Well, in today's world, in the environment that we live in today, I mean, forget COVID starting up, but even with COVID starting up, it's even more important is that our brand message, our voice, the face of our business, it needs to be heard. So like in the old days, it was all advertising everywhere, magazines, TV, whatever. But as things changed, social media is the most powerful form of getting your message out. For example, somebody refers you. My practice that I own is completely by referral, but I'm telling you, before people pick up the phone and call me, they Google me and they see that my brand dominates. So I've done the do things, and I've done them through you. I was ready when COVID hit. I was already virtual. I was ready. So can you tell us about the business that you've built?
Yeah. So it's called Untamed Productions, and there's really two aspects to the business, a third one I'm bringing in, but I essentially help people really awaken their true voice and how to tap into their message in a way that relates to their audience or their customer or clients. And that's more of like the mentorship aspect. And then in the film aspect, I actually get to help produce brand story videos for my clients where they really get to showcase who they serve, what they do in a very visual way, because as I don't even need to quote stats here, but everything is visual today online, right? You create your own little commercials. It's so powerful. And I think once you know how to articulate who you are and who you serve, business is easy. Because I think something that holds people back is they don't know how to describe what they do in a way that people understand.
So true. What do you do for a living? And then it's like, blah, 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 and it's like, oh my God, what did that person just say?
Yeah.
Awesome. So how do people reach you and how do they work with you? Because I know we have with border situations, a lot of stuff is being done virtually anyways, but tell us, how do we reach you? How do we work with you?
Yeah. Well, if you are interested in a brand story video, you could fly to Paris. I usually run that part of the business internationally, so I set tour dates. So if you are interested, just send me a message, even if it's not for right away. I mean, I could be home in Burlington area in the next few months. We don't know, but it's always good to let me know in advance. But
because she'll come for that.
Yeah.
She will.
Book up like 5-6 brand story videos in a week. So, and I've already done, I think I did 10 over Christmas. So
yeah.
But yeah, the main offering I have right now is the 1-month brand story intensive. And we essentially get really clear on, again, how to like clearly articulate who you are, who you serve, and your brand story. It can literally be your about page on your website. It could be your media or bio pitch, or it could be just understanding how to create content for social media. Your story is kind of the foundation, and then you have different ways that it's expressed. So social media content, emails, video series, media exposure, just really understanding how you can expand your message and your brand. And my dream clients that I love to most serve are those who are already in business and they're really just ready to up level. They already have an established business, but they have evolved. And so their message is evolving a little bit and they just need that guidance to make sure everything is in alignment. So I have that on special right now. That I'm normally in US dollars, but for my Canadian people watching, I will pop the link. Actually, I think the link is already in the description, but for my Canadian people, I'm pricing that at 550 Canadian dollars for the 1-month accelerator with me. I do have other options for more long-term if you're interested, but that's what I have right now.
Awesome. And you know what, I just wanted to share here. So in the female entrepreneur interview series that we do every Monday at 10 o'clock, which is right now, so people who are watching, Brittany will also take the best clips out of this interview and put this into a marketable clip for you. So it'll be edited, that can be used on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. And this is what people they're watching. We are selling by video now. And because I've done so many interviews, I can tell you that when you are behind the Zoom camera, you are just free and you give the best shot that you've got because you're not thinking about it. I have sat in front of Brittany's movie camera many times, and I can tell you she was ready to strangle me because I couldn't speak when it came to lights, camera, and action. A woman who's been in business for 35 years all of a sudden forgets her brain because she's got a camera in front of her. It's called stage fright, and it happens all the time. So this new way of doing stuff, the way you've been clipping out for clients in the Zoom platform, has created some amazing material. And also too, with the way you brand their business around the clips, and so there's a lot of work that can be done that Brittany doesn't have to fly from Paris to Toronto. And actually, I'm really loving this stuff. I just, so you've got my vote, and it's not just because you're my child. A lot of times parents are very hard on their children because the bar is way up here. And I can tell you that Brittany has by far exceeded the bar. I can't create the bar for her because I'm not even educated enough to do that. She's got it. So yeah.
I had hired someone else, and then I kind of came in and was like, what is this person doing? And I kind of stole their job.
Yeah, she's the brain, by the way, behind my social media. People are always asking me, they're like, oh my God, how did you ever get so powerful in social media? Well, this is the person that Brittany's created it, the logo, the name, the concept, the whole thing. And it is true. I did hire somebody, whatever, a year, 14 months ago, whatever it was. And on a visit, Brittany was watching what was going on. And she said, are you serious, Mom? And I'm telling you, I was paying a lot of money for this service. So, so if you are feeling like you are banging your head against the wall because you're not getting what you need, that's where I was at. And I've got an idea. I know I can do this, but the team around me is just not performing. But yet, they're cashing their paycheck every week. You know what I mean? So anyways, Brittany jumped in there to say, look, I'll help you for a little bit. And then we've created a fabulous relationship where I don't want it to end. And just to, it's my results, this is her show, but my results have been absolutely incredible, profitable, and for what Brittany is charging for her service, I've always told her it's not enough. We look at what we pay to what results are, and there's a huge gap there. But she's just happy to help.
Well, I have this quote on my website, and it's like, you know your why, let me show you how. And ironically, I've always known my why and not known the how for myself. But again, that's like having the vision and understanding like where the person is going and what their grand vision is. And just to circle back to something you said, Mom, about speaking on camera, like one of the benefits of really understanding, what your pitch is, what your story is that like when we showed up live today, I don't ever need to prepare for interviews. Like at any given moment, someone could ask me, what do I do? I have different variations of how I explain, what I do and to whom, depending on like what, you have to know who you're speaking to, right? That's part of knowing how to share your story. And I think, Mom, for you as well, like doing these Zoom interviews, you've gotten more and more comfortable where we don't need to prep. Once you know your story and your message, you show up in a whole new way and you get to make that impact and you get to generate that income. So it's such a, I can't tell you how many people have inner turmoil over this.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And when you feel comfortable, people want to be around you and they want to work with you. And you're right. I don't feel nervous about doing this at all. I mean, I flew up to Peterborough and interviewed some guy that just started a cake company, and it was like bang. It was instantaneously, nothing was prepped for it, and it was a fabulous video, and it went to 2 of the member of parliaments in Canada, which they'll probably spread it all across Canada. And yeah. So yeah, it's all in the passion and it's the cause and so Brittany, you're right. The why, you do develop a deep why, and then the how to actually to do it. So thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for being here today. So anybody who'd like any more information, you know how to reach us. Just talk to us.
Yeah.
See you next Monday.
See you next Monday. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. We'll do it again. Bye.
Bye.